Our top story tonight, the pilot who survived Sunday's plane crash talks exclusively to DC News Now in his first televised interview. So Patrick Merkle and his passenger, Janet Williams, miraculously, they made it out alive the second time, by the way. He and all of his passengers have survived a plane crash. DC News Now's Joseph Almo covers transportation for us. And Joseph, you had a 2-hour conversation with him in his office today.
Yeah, Joe, there's a reason that pilot Patrick Merkle sat down with you to tell his story.
Yeah, 3 reasons, actually, Mark and Tismeen, that he wanted to sit down with us. He wants to thank the rescuers, especially Deputy Chief Thomas Baker of the Laytonsville Volunteer Fire Department. He says it was Baker who was continuously checking in on him, calling him and his passenger to make sure that they were okay. He also wants to get the message out that flying small airplanes is a safe way to travel. Remember, now he's survived 2 crashes in small airplanes. And lastly, he wants to talk about something he doesn't open up much about, his faith. We covered a lot of ground. You guys said it, 2 hours. We were there at his office. And I want to start right now with his story of what happened during those 7 harrowing hours when he and his passenger were so close to death's door. Take a listen.
If we had been 6 feet either side of that transmission tower, it would have taken off a wing and we would have simply fallen to the ground and perished.
Tonight, for the first time since his name made headlines across the globe, Patrick Merkle telling DC News Now about what it was like crashing his small, single-engine plane into an electrical tower and miraculously living to tell the story.
Every second that we were hanging there, 9/10 of that second I spent worrying about slipping backwards and falling off that tower, and knowing that that would be the end of us.
Merkle was making the trip back from Westchester, New York. His friend Jan on board, the two on approach into the Montgomery County Air Park in Gaithersburg. It was dark, visibility was low, and Merkle admits,
well, quite obviously I was flying too low. So, you know, however I ended up flying too low, I'll have to review that with the FAA and the NTSB.
The crash happening right around 5:30 Sunday night. What followed was an intense rescue operation that took over 7 hours. Merkle telling us he faced some grueling choices.
Rather than slide back down and die hitting the ground, I popped out the windshield, lifted off the dashboard, and was ready to get out of the aircraft and into the superstructure and to get Jan, who was more injured than I was, out of the plane as well, and to wait either up on the superstructure or to come down the ladder, which is on the side of it, to get to the ground. The chief told us, you know, he was concerned that the tower was electrified and that he didn't want us getting into a situation that made it even worse.
So they stayed in the fog, in the dark, and then came along a blistering wind.
And we were asking him, did you bring blankets? You know, because, you know, me worried about having to jump out of the airplane. I've opened up the whole canopy, and it's cold up there.
How cold?
And it's frickin' windy. So it was, and with blood loss, you know, we're getting even colder. So I was very worried about hypothermia for myself and for Jan.
Merkle's son making the trip from Philadelphia the moment he heard about the crash. He made it to the site while his dad was still stuck over 100 feet up.
It was around 9 o'clock when he got the news. By midnight, he was at the scene.
So your son watched you get lowered from a bucket 100 feet up?
Yes, he did.
And as for any reflections, now 3 days after the crash?
It's a miracle. I'm not here because of anything I did right. I'm here because God wants me or Jan or both of us to be around for quite a while longer.
Now, back here in the studio, also in that interview, Merkle revealed that he punched the windshield out of the cockpit in case he had to jump. He even reached out, clutched part of the tower, and didn't let go for 3 hours, not because he thought he was strong enough to hold up a 2,500-pound plane, but so that he could feel if it started to fall. Tismeen and Mark.
So, Joseph, you even talked about flying in that kind of weather. For people who may not remember, Sunday was really foggy. It was even pretty bad to drive on the ground. I can't imagine what it was like up in the air for him.
Yeah, we talk about that. We're going to have that sound from that part of the interview in the next hour at 7 p.m. The answer is very, very interesting because, again, the point that he tried to make during his interview today, guys, was that flying a small airplane is still something safe to do. So that's a big question. So many people asking, Why did you fly in the bad weather, number one? Number two, when are we going to get some official results to this investigation? The FAA and the NTSB expect to have a full report by the end of the year.
All right, Joseph, thank you so very much.